Good day everyone, I am Ivy Anas Beto and we are here to report the theory of plate tectonics together with my co-reporter Jasper Tero. So let's start. Plate tectonics. Plate tectonics refers to the global system of coupled boundaries along mid-ocean ridges, subduction zones, and transform faults on Earth. It operates through continental drift, seafloor spreading, and lithospheric subduction, shaping the Earth's surface throughout geological time. So, in other words, the concept of plate tectonics driven by continental drift, seafloor spreading, and lithospheric subduction that provides a more comprehensive framework for understanding this kind of processes that have shaped the Earth's surface throughout geological time. So, plate tectonics simply explains driven by continental drift. So, mauna siya ang mga movement sa ato ang plate like gamove ang mga plate in different way or gamove siya on each other. So, example ana kay ang identical rocks with same age and type. So, sa seafloor spreading, mauna siya ang process nga ga-occur at the boundary between two plates. Kumbaga, mauna siya ang movement sa duwa ka plate or duwa ka rocks nga same age o same type o gabuhat siya way para ang floor kay mag-spread nga na. So, this theory is not only explains the movement of continents and ocean basins but also ga-underpin po ni siya og mga occurrence of geological phenomena such as ang earthquakes o ang volcanic activity or volcanic eruptions. So, plate tectonics stands as the fundamental and unifying principles in the field of geology. It enhances our appreciation of the ever-changing nature of our planet and its interconnectedness of its geological features. So, next slide. Plate tectonics theory. So, the theory of tectonic postulates that the Earth's crust is fractured and thus divided into a small number of large and rigid pieces referred to as plates. Plate tectonics theory also asserts that the plate motion is responsible for the long-term, large-scale formation and changes occurring on the Earth's surface and for most of the seismic and volcanic activity around the world. So, ang movement kay mao na siya ang interaction of different plates and their boundaries. Ug responsible po na siya for various geological phenomena as mentioned ako ganiha nga including ang mga formation sa mountains, ocean basins, earthquakes and volcanic activity that makes the plate tectonics a fundamental concept in the field of geology. So, next slide. Tectonic plate. Tectonic plates are gigantic pieces of the Earth's crust and uppermost mantle. They are made up of oceanic crust and continental crust. Earthquakes occur around mid-ocean ridges and the large faults which mark the edges of the plates. So, plates are constantly in motion. Sa ato pa nga, ang tectonic plates ga slowly and constantly move na siya in many different direction. Some are moving toward to each other and some are moving apart and some are grinding up past each other. So, makuan na siya, ma-explain na siya unya ni Tero kung unsang klaseng mga movements sa boundaries sa ato ang plate. So, earthquakes tend to occur near mid-ocean ridges, where plates are moving apart and along the large faults that delineate the boundaries between these plates, where they may either converge, diverge, or slide past each other. Explain na unya ni Tero. So, these tectonic plates movements and their associated geological activities play a fundamental role in shaping the Earth's surface over time. So, next slide. tectonic plates map showing the ring of fire. So, makita na to sa picture ang red line, red line nga, mauna siyang describe sa the ring of fire. So, the ring of fire also referred to the Pacific Belt is a path along the Pacific Ocean characterized by active volcanoes and frequent earthquakes. So, the majority of Earth's volcanoes and earthquakes take place along the ring of fire. So, more siya ang ga-distinguish sa mga high level of geological activities, including the presence of numerous active volcanoes and a frequent occurrence of earthquakes. So, this area is significant because it is where a substantial proportion of the world's volcanoes and Earth's earthquakes are connected. So, diri sa Pilipinas, part na siya or ginatawag ang Philippines as the Pacific Ring of Fire because Philippines is located along the typhoon belt in the Pacific and almost 20 typhoons every year ang gatama sa Philippines. So, among sa 20 typhoons, 5 or more ang destructive. So, ang Yolanda ang pinaka di malimtan nga typhoon or ang Yolanda ang pinaka destructive nga typhoon nga nahitabo sa Philippines year 2013 nga it almost killed 6,500 people and ang damage niya kay 95.5 billion pesos. Grabe ka. Alfred Wegener. The theory of plate tectonics has evolved from the theory of continental drift originally proposed by the German scientist Alfred Wegener in 1915. Wegener's theory of continental drift proclaimed that the Earth's surface was not static but dynamic and that the oceans and continents are in constant motion. So, Alfred Wegener's theory of continental drift proposed in the early 20th century and was a groundbreaking idea nga naghatag og way para sa ato ang modern theory of plate tectonics. So, Wegener suggested that the Earth continents were once part of a single supercontinent called Pangaea, which over a million of years had gradually broken apart and drifted to their current position. So, Wegener supported this kind of theory because daghan kay mga evidence such as the remarkable fit of the continents, coastlines, and the distribution of identical fossils and rock formations on different continents nga nakita and na-separate tungod sa ginatawag nga continental drift. So, he also noted that the way continents seem to fit together and it described as a pieces of jigsaw puzzle. So, ang mga continent daw nga naa sa ato karon kay so we have 7 continent and gi-describe siya as jigsaw puzzle kay sa una daw siguro a million years ago connected daw og single lang daw ang ato ang continent. Kumbaga walay nag-exist nga 7 continent like karon nga like this current nga continent. So ano siya it called daw nga Pangaea ang continent nga iyahang ginatawag. So Wegener's idea were met with skepticism during his lifetime. They later gained widespread acceptance as more evidence and research emerged. So as we can see sa to ang map, makit-an jud nato ang mga coastlines nga murag jud puzzle nga pag i-connect nimo makahimo siya single nga picture. Murag ma-picture out nimo kung unsa ba jud ang tungod sa ang picture. So today, we understand that the movement of continents is part of the broader concept of plate tectonics. So where the Earth's lithospheric plates, including both continents and the oceanic crust, are in constant motion. So, Wegener's work or Wegener's theory of continental drift is a vital and it helps us to understand the dynamic nature of Earth's surface and the interconnectedness of different continents in terms of geological process such as the fossils and the rock formations of nga nakita sa different continents. So next,
Plate boundary. A plate boundary is a three-dimensional surface or zone across which there is significant change in the velocity due to speed of direction of motion of a one lithospheric plate relative to the adjacent lithospheric plate. The study of a plate boundary and their motion is like figuring out a constantly moving jigsaw puzzle. Simply means there are three types of plate boundaries, which is the divergent, convergent, and transform. So if you're going back to the slide where it shows a map that the placement of tectonics plate, so that lines or those lines in red, those lines are the plate boundary, which means it is a boundary between another Earth's crust surface. So moving on, what is convergent boundaries? Convergent boundaries occurs when plates collide with each other, and the kind of stress is called is compression. So in other words, is convergent is when the movement of the earthquake is towards to one another. That is we called as convergent. And there are three types of convergent plate boundaries, which is the oceanic boundaries, oceanic continental boundaries, and continental boundaries. They are both the same um, convergent boundaries, but they are different in occurring places, such as oceanic boundaries only occurs under the ocean. Oceanic continental boundaries occurs between from the water and the land, and the continental boundaries is when an earthquake occurs in only the land. Next is the divergent boundaries. Divergent boundaries occurs when plate moves away from each other. This is stress. This stress is called tension. So, ito daw si tension or the divergent boundaries is when yung movement ng lupa natin is papalayo sa isa't isa. That is we called as the divergent, and it will result or it will produce stress that called as tension. Transform fault boundary. Transform fault boundaries are also known as sliding boundaries. They occur when plates slide in creating a break in the Earth's surface. This called as shearing or shearing force. So the transform fault boundaries is more likely a parang nagkakaskasan sila or parang nagkakos sila ng friction due to its movement na sliding, and that will leads or that will produce as the stress that called shearing. Cause of planet movement. So what is the causes or what are the causes? So many theories have been offered to explain the plate movement. The prevalent one so far is the convection current theory. So what is the convectional or convection current theory? So it is a scientific theory that explains the movement of heat from the Earth's interior to its surface. It was proposed by the British geologist, namely Arthur Holmes, in the early 20th century. This theory has been suggested that heat is transferred from the Earth's core to surface through convection process which hot material rises while cooler materials sinks. So in other words, for an example, if a volcano will blows, so the lava or the heat inside the volcano will go up, and and the cold cooler materials will sink. This will lead that the heat will be transferred to our tectonic plates, which causes the tectonic plates move instantly due to heat transfer from the Earth's core. According to this theory, this movement is driven by transfer of heat from Earth's core to its surface. So it says the hot materials from the core rises, which are the lava, molten rock, and others materials that came from the core, while the cooler material from the surface sinks towards the core, creating a continuous cycle of motion. This is the process of rising and sinking creates convectional current. For an example, if a volcano will erupt underneath the water, or it is located under the water, it may possibility that after the blow that there will be another land will be raised, and others earth surface will sink, and that explains while the other cities is underneath the water, and there are sometimes new islands that appears due to the volcanic eruption. And that is all about the plate tectonic theory. Thank you.